Yeah.
The short answer is absolutely yes. It has been done thousands and thousands of times now in India, let alone around the world. So you should not have any inhibition on whether you can or whether you cannot. You absolutely can. In fact, most project managers are preferring to now move into a more strategic decision-making role because they find themselves at a crossroad where they've kind of done whatever there was supposed to be done with 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of experience, and you kind of hit a glass ceiling in some sense, right? And so so it's absolutely doable. Now, how hard it is a slightly difficult question for me without knowing you or spending some time on your current capabilities and all of that. So I'll give you a slightly more general purpose answer if that's okay. Happy to learn more on a separate call, perhaps a quick 10-minute call where you tell me a little bit more in detail. I see your resume and I can kind of give you more laser focused guidance. But uh, you know, how hard is also a function of how much effort and time you put in. But if I were to say, you know, if learning Chinese, I'm assuming that you don't know Chinese right now. Is that a fair assumption?
Yes, yes, correct.
Okay, so if learning Chinese is, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, you know, the most difficult, 1 being super easy, if learning Chinese is 10, you know, learning product management is like a 3, right? So hopefully that gives you a relative reference point on how hard or easy it is. It's very doable. See, the hard part, if at all there is a hard part, or the one that requires effort, is not understanding the theory alone. It's the ability to apply that in a context of some problem solving. That's the learning. That's where learning happens. Otherwise, what happens is kind of awareness building happens, right? And so I don't know if you guys have followed the expert model of learning, how especially adults learn. There are 4 layers of learning, right? And I'm kind of going a little deeper into your question for the benefit of others as well. But short answer is on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 3, right? So yes, it does take effort, but absolutely doable. And you know, most people in this world can crack it, right? So it's not a big deal. And then I'm going to get to your third question as well. But a slight digression on your second question. The 4 layers of learning. In fact, let me see if I used to have a slide which I just used yesterday for our alumni. Let me pull that up here. Is there a way for me to share the screen, the IPL team?
Yes, you can share your screen now. Try.
Okay. So I'm going to try and put up a visual which may be easier, you know, for you to look at, and for others who may have a similar question, right? So like I said, there are 4 layers of learning, especially for executive education, people who are working professionals, right, in adult education. The first one is called awareness. It's the outermost layer. I don't want to call it superficial, but it's certainly more visceral and the most outermost one. It's called awareness. A lot of e-learning courses. Let's say you want to learn something about blockchain, right? Or you want to learn something about the latest, you know, Italian cooking, let's say. You take an e-learning, you read a few blogs, you get some video based like Coursera, Udemy, edX, right? A lot of these tools which are available, some paid, some free. But those are great to build awareness. So now you're aware about the vocabulary, you're aware about the words that people use in that space. You know the difference if it's Italian cooking, you know, a difference between oregano and thyme, right? It's not just masala. There are 2 different, right? And they each one kind of, so all of that is awareness. Now, as you go deeper, you build literacy, which is the second word, the second level of learning. Now, literacy is much more meaningful than awareness because you can actually construct sentences. You can have a conversation with your boss around that topic. Let's say it's user experience design. You will know what is Gestalt's law. You will bring up the formula. You will bring up the foundations as you discuss with other cross-functional teams, right? So that's also very good. But again, it's at a knowledge level. And the third part, which is the skill, if you look at the green part in this whole dissection of that sphere. It's the inner core, which is the skill, which means now not only do you know the frameworks, you know when to apply what, right? In this situation, I think I'm going to use this costing method. In this situation, I think I'm going to use this pricing methodology, right? So knowing the methodology is important. That's literacy. But how do you apply? Where do you apply? In what context do you make that problem solving? And you do this repeatedly. It's called skill. Now you're building skill.
Okay.
And then the fourth one, which is the ultimate goal for everyone to get to, is what we call an expertise, which is beyond skill, much more deeper in the core of your learning, which means not only do you know how to do the job, whether it's Italian cooking or product management or whatever, you are now setting the standards in your company on how it should be done.
Okay.
You are guiding how to hire people in that skill, right? So let's say you're a program manager, project manager. You will now set up the PMO office in your center of excellence. You will know how to hire people, and so now you've published papers. You're a thought leader. You speak at conferences on that subject, right? All of that. So I just want to kind of take a quick 2-minute detour for your question. I hope it gives some context, right?
Yes, sure.
So all of it are called learning.
Yeah.
But there's a big difference, as you can imagine, right? And so try to understand the levels. When you say I know something, and this is true for all of us, right? By the way, we all have this cognitive bias, which is a psychological term that we use about the situation where we think we are who we are, but we're not really that person, right? But we think of that as if we are. So, I have cognitive bias. It's human nature, by the way. My cognitive bias is that I'm healthy. My wife keeps on telling me I'm not. And I keep on telling her, no, look at me, I'm healthy, right? The blood report shows borderline diabetes, right? Okay. So until that blood report came in, I was in a cognitive bias.
Okay.
That no, nothing is wrong with me, I'm happy, right? So same thing, right? No, a lot of people say, I know this, I know that. And what that might be is that they're right, but it might be at the awareness level, at the literacy level. It may not be at a skill level, right? So just kind of keep check for that bias also in that. Now the third question on the salary, or you didn't use the word salary, but essentially, what will I get paid at a certain level? The good news that project management salaries are usually much lower compared to product management. So even though you don't get a whole lot of credit for your 10 years of project management experience in some sense, right? Because you have a certain experience and certain expertise and perhaps certain skills in project, but that doesn't mean I should value that when I'm hiring you as a product manager. But the good news is that even a 1 or 2 years of experience of product management in India starts at 28 lakhs, right? On an average. Some of our alumni have gone up to 80, 90 lakhs. We have, exceptionally good alumni who have got 1.2 crore packages. And I'm talking India. I'm not talking about Facebook in Silicon Valley converted into Indian rupees. I'm talking about Indian company paying in Indian salaries, right? In US, this is about $300,000 is the typical product management salary, right? So because the delta is such a big, most of you will never have a problem, even if they don't consider your 10 years of experience in engineering or project or business analysis or whichever role you're coming from, because the demand is very high, the average pay is very high. So I don't think you will see any problem. If at all, you will see a huge jump from where you are. So I don't think you should worry too much. And also from a growth perspective, once you're in that role, it's also important to keep on growing.
Right.
And the growth happens very, very fast, right?
Right.
Again, using my own life's example, when I was the director of product management, perhaps 10 years ago, right? My peer who I used to work with in engineering was elder than my father. Now, nothing wrong with age, but what I'm saying is, for somebody to become a VP of engineering, it takes gray hair or no hair. If I can use that in a very jokingly way, that's not true for product management. Product management growth path is extremely fast. It's all about how fast you are growing based on how good decisions you're making, how great and deep skills you've developed.
Mm.
So the pathway is very, very fast. Even if you start at a certain level,
Mhm.
you will grow extremely fast. It's like an expressway
Right.
as opposed to a local lane, right? Both
Right.
cars are moving, but
Mhm.
this is going to move very fast. So I hope I answered the three parts that I could detect.
Right.
Did I capture everything?
Just one part of it was just when I was applying for many companies here for
Hmm.
product management, many people were, they wanted somebody who has experience in either development or UI UX,
Hmm.
and or has been a product manager for some time, and my
Yeah.
application was rejected. So
No, so that's a nice way of telling you what you didn't have.
yeah.
Most of us when we hire, we don't necessarily want to break your hearts
Mm.
for candidates who we don't hire, right? And so we give a very nice standard answer
Mm.
that look, you were, you didn't have this experience, that experience. Of course, your resume, they knew that you don't have that experience before they even picked up the phone and talked to you, isn't it?
Right.
So it's not like they discovered something new in the middle of the interview.
Mm.
The reason they say that is because they could not, more often than not,
Yeah.
they could not find the depth of skills
Okay.
in your portfolio. In fact, many of you, you only submit your resume. Let
Mm.
me tell you something, and I know that's not a question you asked, but for the benefit of everybody else, resume-based hiring is dead.
Okay.
Let me repeat, this is important. Try to ingrain this, and it's okay if you disagree with me, but
Mm.
try to give it some thought tonight, food for thought for you. Resume-based hiring
Right.
is especially in product space, because we don't care whether you are an IIT Kharagpur gold medalist or not. The question is, if
Mm.
I want you to do some UX UI work, if I want you to do some market research work,
Mm.
can you show me evidence
Okay.
of you having
Mhm.
the skill to
Mm.
be able to do that?
Right.
Now, IIT Kharagpur is bonus points for you, right? You're a Harvard graduate, it's a bonus point. You're an IPL graduate, it's a
Right.
bonus point. You're an
Right.
IIM, MBA, it's a bonus point. But
Mm.
honestly, it doesn't matter. The certificates don't matter as much
Right.
as your portfolio, which means you better have demonstrable skills, not just resume-based declaration of skills.
Right.
Resume is nothing but a declaration of skills. I know this, I know that.
Mm.
And trust me, everybody's resumes look good, right?
Oh, right.
Because it's what we call keyword stuffing.
Mm.
Most resumes will have all the right keywords stuffed into it.
Yeah.
So most people don't care in this space because it's a decision making role. It's not a C++ or a project management role. It's a very, very, and so show a portfolio. If you don't have a portfolio, that
Mm.
means that you don't have the skills, is the simple translation in the
Okay.
minds of the hiring manager. So you don't have to have experience to, by the way, build a portfolio, because that's the next question somebody may ask. That
Okay.
look, I'm a fresher. I have zero experience in product management. How can I show a
Right.
portfolio?
Huh.
The answer is
Huh.
you can always build a portfolio without working for a company.
Okay.
Nobody is stopping any one of you
Huh.
to showcase your UX skills
Mm.
by redesigning the IRCTC website tomorrow.
Got it.
Nobody is stopping you
Huh.
from suggesting a pricing plan for the new Swiggy and Zomato, especially under COVID, a subscription to biryani, let's say. Nobody's stopping you.
Okay.
You write it up, you build a PowerPoint, you showcase your skills, you publish it on LinkedIn, you send it out for review. There you go. You have a portfolio.
Got
So
it.
volunteer for a startup. There are hundreds and thousands of startups. Don't ask for money.
Yeah.
Just go and lend your skills on a weekend while you're still working, at Infosys or wherever it is that one of you is working at.
Yeah.
That's okay. On the weekend, go spend some time with a startup and volunteer your time. You
Right.
will get enough opportunities. If you have the skills,
Mm.
you should build the portfolio and then demonstrate that portfolio, submit that portfolio as a example, as a proof point of your work. And
Mm.
that point,
Right.
your ability to crack that interview is went up by 500%,
Got
right?
it. Okay.
As opposed to, just resume.
Right. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
super.
Thank you, Saurabh. Hi, Palash. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Absolutely.
Yes. It's very nice talking to you, sir. It's a great chance for a youngster like me. So, sir, I'll stick to my questions directly.
Hmm.
Sir, one of the first questions I had was, I was more into UX design, sir. Okay?
Hmm.
Uh, I I don't have that much of an experience. I just only have an year of experience around myself, right?
Hmm.
So, my first question is, sir, how is product management a better will help me? Just a second. How is product management different from UX design, sir? Because I find the concept behind that is very similar, sir. So this is my first question. And again,
Yeah.
second question is when I spoke to the people from IPL on the phone, they kind of stressed a lot on how portfolio making is better, how portfolio management will help me get a better job. I think you answered that in the previous question as well, but I would like to know it better from you, sir. How is portfolio management gonna help us get good jobs? And sir, another concern I had before joining this course is that I have only an year of experience, sir. Okay, it is not that much, but it is still my field is related to it as I am currently working in market research.
Yeah.
So, how will that affect? Let us say I'll ask it directly. How will that affect part of how much salary I get in the future?
No, fair enough. Fair point. Fair point. And I appreciate the candidness with which you are asking the question. So let me get to the first. I think I heard again 3-part questions or maybe 3 questions in
Yes, sir.
your. So let me try to answer the first one. User experience design is a very important skill competency which is integral to product management. So if you see what's on my screen right now, and where I've highlighted, the laser beam, user experience design is a subset of the overall product management, 25 different competencies that a full stack product manager, or as we call a global product manager, should have, right? So it's a stepping stone. If you are a user experience designer, the next step is to become an associate product manager, a junior product manager, and then eventually a senior product manager, a group product manager, a director of product manager, a VP, and eventually a CEO. That's the typical path that you will see for most people in the world, right? Including India, certainly in the US, it has been that way for 20 years now. So that's the answer to the first question. Now, you can only specialize in user experience design as well. That itself is a career as you go deeper
Right.
and deeper, right?
Yes.
But if you're interested in kind of knowing user experience, but leveraging user experience to get into the financial side, the business side, the management side, then of course, this is a stepping stone, right? So, in other words, you can choose to become the CEO as a doctor, as a medical doctor. You can choose to become the CEO of a hospital and still practice medicine, or you can become super specialist in your medicine where you are like the only one, only 10 people in the world who can do gastroenterologist for kids, for example, and you are a deep expert. Both are great options. Both are great options, right? But product management is a superset of user experience design, is a superset of business analysis. A lot of that customer insighting that you see here is a superset of project management. A lot of that product road mapping and project management that you see here, and so on and so forth, right? The second question is, 1 year is not a bad years of experience. In fact, in a new field, it doesn't matter.
Right.
The gentleman before you, when he said that, look, I have 10 years of experience, when he enters into the zone, he may only have 2 years of product management experience, even though he has total 12 years of experience. And so it's not a inhibitor for you. If I were to even put a positive way of looking at it, your salary levels are going to be salary expectations are going to be lower compared to that 10 plus 2% that I just mentioned, right? So assuming somebody has 10 years of experience with 2 years of product management experience, their salary levels or expectations are going to be high. Your expectations may not be as high, and so you'll have a lot more opportunity, even though you only have 1 or 2 years of experience. That's not a problem. Age is not a factor at all in product space. Um, so in fact, I'm glad that people like you are thinking about it, sooner. I wish I was as smart as you are, because I was a hardcore engineer for my master's, my bachelor's, the PhD that I started is all in computer science, and I was in engineering for about 8 years, until which I then realized, oh my God, I actually like the other side more, and became a product manager after. But had I been as smart and as visionary as you are, I would have saved those 6 7 years, and I could have been a different trajectory in my life altogether, right? So it's absolutely okay. It's absolutely advantageous in some sense also. So don't think that's a negative or a disadvantage. I mean, on the salary part, like I said, the starting salary comes at 26 lakhs. 2 years of experience, maybe 38, 48, 40 lakhs. And all this data is available on Glassdoor, on local, just do a Google search on it. You'll find lots of this data. It is one of the hottest paid job, and there are so many openings that they are not able to fill because the skill is very limited in India, right? Relative to US and other places where this has been more developed. Just a quick frame of reference, 1.8 million product managers in the United States and Europe, only 68,000 product managers in India. Now you can see the huge gap that we have. So I think for the next 15 to 20 years minimum, this is going to be an amazing journey and an amazing opportunity, for this, right? So you will do very well. Trust me, compared to all other paths that you may be thinking, this may be financially also very, very rewarding.
Thank you, sir. One more question I had, sir.
Mhm.
This is regarding the program, sir. Right, sir. This is a flex program, right? It'll start and we'll have to do our things very, very quickly, right? Uh,
Correct.
would you suggest to go through the MBA program in it as well? Like, such as a guy who has not a huge amount of experience, sir.
No,
Would you
so
suggest them
so
to go for a
the
flex management or like flex program, or would you also, tell them if you can, if you want, you can go for MBA as well? How how would you
I
deal
think
with the
that
situation, sir?
I think the choice between a certification 5 month ICPM, product management flexible flex program versus the executive MBA in product leadership, which is the 18-month
Yeah.
weekend program, a formal degree program at the campus. The choice between the two has less to do with your experience level and has more to do with your three things. One, your learning style. What kind of learning style do you as an individual prefer? Do you prefer a video-based learning which is fast and curated and finishes it quickly within 4 to 5 months? Or do you prefer a campus-based, face-to-face, completely faculty-driven, and a more involved, way of learning, right? So that's the first choice, the learning style. Both are good. There is no right or wrong answer. It is up to the individual on what learning style they prefer. Like for example, for me, I am very bad at Coursera. I start a lot of course, I never finish. Not because I don't want to finish, but it's just some other distraction happens in life. And and I like the whole team spirit. I want, learning with people, learning together makes me a better learner, but that's just me, right? And you may be slightly better, slightly more disciplined than me. The second reason to choose between this and that is the need for a formal degree. A lot of people want a formal master's degree, a formal UGC accredited degree program, whereas some are okay with a global certification, right? So again, that's the second kind of choice vector. Again, no right or wrong answer. Both are good, individual preferences. The third, and probably one of the most important factors, is do you want to now learn product management, which is the kind of competencies that you see here on this on the wheel, on the circle diagram that you see on the screen, or do you want to expand you're learning beyond product management into data science and data analytics, for example, into finance and strategy, for example, into leadership related courses, right? Leadership related skills, art of storytelling. You know, a lot of people have a lot of great data, but they cannot tell a great story. They cannot make a great presentation. And if you cannot convince people at this senior level, your ideas remain in a PowerPoint. It goes nowhere, right? So if you want a more holistic way of building your career path, then the executive MBA program is obviously much better because it has data science, it has data analytics. Of course, it has all of the product management that we are seeing as a superset, but it has a lot more to offer. So those are the three typical choice, of vectors that people go through. But both tracks have been very, very successful. You know, historically speaking, it's not like if you don't do an executive MBA and if I just do ICPM Flex that you will have a lesser job or a lesser pay or a lesser way. It's not like that at all, right? So don't read this as more expensive program means better. That is not, in my personal view. Again, I'm just speaking for myself. The institute may have a different view on it, but that has no bearing on the outcome, right? So, and budget could be a fourth vector, right? You know, something in the low, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 versus 10, 15, $20,000, or in Indian rupees, 1 lakh versus 9 lakhs. That could be another vector of decision making, right? So those are the choices, and those are the value. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, it does. Thanks a lot.
Super.
One question, this is the last question, sir.
Sure. Is that okay, the IPL team? I'm okay. You guys are in a little late night mode. It's early morning for me, so I'm happy to be as long as I can answer every single question from every one of you. So happy to be
I
here.
was about to interrupt Palash that maybe we can take some more questions and then I can unmute him again once we have some more time.
I'll ask it in
Fair.
the Q&A. Thanks.
And you can
Fair point.
also book that 10 minutes session and it'll be easy for you to get clarification on your questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay. I'll ask in the Q&A question. That's not it.
Fair point. Fair point. And if you're still there at the end when everybody else is done, I'm happy to take that right now in this session as well at the end. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Palash. Santosh, please ask your question. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Looks like he's already left for dinner.
Hey, I don't have any questions as of now.
Okay, great. Manikaran, you can also go ahead, unmute yourself and ask your question as you have raised your hand.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for allowing me to ask a question, and thanks Sonal and the IPL team and the honorable guest. Okay, my question to the panelist is, I'm currently having 3 years of experience in product management at a mid-sized company. That's why I'm still working even now also. But having a 3 years of experience in PM, but when I apply for any Fortune companies like Microsoft or Amazon, so most of the time my profile don't get shortlisted because of I'm not from IIT or IIM or ISB. So my question is like, how should I improve my profile as a senior PM and land up in good product-based companies?
So I don't know if you were here earlier when I was answering another question. You may want to put yourself on mute. We're picking up some background noise. So I don't know if you heard what I said earlier. This notion that you got rejected because you are not from an IIM or an IIT or a Harvard or a IPL or a whatever is absolutely, a myth. There is no such credibility. There is no, as a hiring manager, I can tell you, having now met, hundreds of hiring managers in India, I can tell you this is absolutely a myth. Yes, it certainly helps to get that extra. If there are two great candidates, both are equal, and if you've done some program from IPL or ISB or Harvard, you get the extra 5 points. You do get that slightly edge, maybe, but other than that, this is a myth. The reason people don't select you, or people don't pay attention to your candidature, is because it's not attractive in terms of the demonstration of skills. That's the portfolio that we were talking about for a while, right? The first thing that I do, I tell you, a very interesting scenario that happened. There's a senior leader at Intuit called Lokesh. You should look him up on LinkedIn. Lokesh Tripathi, I think, is his last name, right? And he came to the campus to hire at the IPL career management cell, where they invite a lot of hiring managers to come. They connect, they network, right? So it's not a placement, because only full-time people get placement, but everybody else gets to participate in these hackathons, in these hiring events. And so hundreds of hiring managers come. But this particular incident, when I was in India at the same time, and it really struck me, is when Lokesh came to the campus, he talked about what he's looking to hire for. He was wearing an IIM Bangalore t-shirt, right? Now, you can imagine, especially the executive MBA senior folks, a little bit more mischievous in their style. They said, "Hey, look, we are glad that as a senior leader from Intuit, you've come here to hire and to talk to all of us. Um, but but you are wearing an IIM Bangalore T-shirt, and so why are you here then, right? Obviously because he's an alumni from IIM Bangalore." And a very nice, pleasant, Zen type of smile that Lokesh has, he said, "Hey, look, I'm a proud alumni of IIM Bangalore, but if I want to hire a fashion designer, I'm going to go to NIFT. If I want a designer to hire for my projects, I'm going to go to NID." And these are institutes, National Institute of Design and National Institute of Fashion Technology, that you may have heard of. Right now, I'm hiring for the best product person who's kind of skilled and gone through a rigor, and hence I am at Institute of Product Leadership. So that doesn't mean that I don't like IIM Bangalore, or I'm a proud alma mater of IIM Bangalore, so much so that I wear the IIM Bangalore t-shirt everywhere I can, because he graduated from IIM Bangalore. So that's how it is. This is a myth that you have to have some degree from somewhere. You need to have a portfolio. My recommendation to you is invest the time in building skills. First of all, you may know a lot of things, like we talked about earlier, and your 3 years of experience is great, but look at this wheel and self-evaluate whether you have skills on all 25 areas, or are you only doing one part of the product management, or one particular skill of the product management, right? So be honest to yourself and first know whether you have it or not. Second, if you have it, build a portfolio, prove it to the world that you can do this, right? Comparative analysis, a very simple way. Why are you not publishing on LinkedIn, Geo's and Reliance competitive map, as they now get into multiple things, and your analysis on what Reliance? You should write a letter to Mukesh Ambani, tagging him on LinkedIn with his LinkedIn profile, saying, "Hey, this is what you should be doing next." It's okay. If the Ambani doesn't want to listen to your advice, that's absolutely okay. But you will now, in the process, have demonstrated your strategy skills, have demonstrated your comparative analysis skills. You've probably gotten 600 comments on it and 500 likes on it. Welcome to portfolio. Whether Mukesh Ambani listens to you or not is an extra bonus, but you already got, your portfolio. So this is the kind of stuff that you have to start doing. That would be my recommendation. It is not because you don't have a degree or a certificate from somewhere.
Yeah, that's really very insightful, and agree. I'll work on the kind of inputs you are going. Makes sense actually. So
Yeah.
one last question. So I heard most of the times management positions, product managers will not get an opportunity to work in abroad or other countries. Is that true, or I understand there's a slight chances, like I mean, I when I see that there are slight chances who I mean PMs who work in India product based companies, they travel to abroad, or at the same time going abroad and trying PM jobs is something I heard it's not that easy. How far it is true, and let's say how one
All
PM can get it.
all this is hearsay stuff, myth, dinner conversation with a bunch of people who have bad experiences or lost something and are just venting. There is no truth to any of this. I personally know at least, like, 15 or 20, and I don't remember all the alumni I teach, but 15 or 20 who are in touch with me. They were in India, they progressed in India, and they were so good that the US companies brought them at 10x the package, and they're all in US right now. I know enough people who are in India, choosing to be in India. They have opportunities in US, but they want to stay in India due to family reasons, and got several promotions, several levels of promotion. So this is all, in a world of, especially in post-COVID, everything is digital, everything is virtual. It really doesn't matter, at some level, where you are, right? As long as you have the flexibility to travel. So all this is myth. There is no such restriction. Now, the number of opportunities is obviously much higher in United States than the number of opportunities if I look at a scale comparison. But other than that, there is no other artificial restriction at all. By the way, Sundar Pichai was a product manager, and obviously now he's the CEO of Alphabet. We all know that. So there is no such thing at all.
Thank you,
Okay.
Manikiran. I hope that answered your question. Sia, can you please go ahead and ask your question?
Hi. Thank you for giving me opportunity. My question is that I am from HR background. I have experience in HR, but now I want to move in product management. So I don't know whether career switching option is a good option. And so just wanted to know that will HR management skills help me out in project management or not?
When you say HR skills will help in product management, not project management, right? You mentioned project management.
Yeah, by mistake, and I have mentioned it's product management.
Product management. Absolutely. Any context of any domain is going to be useful to make better decisions. Remember, product management is nothing but the art and science of making good decisions. And if you come from that space, you will make better decisions as long as you are a product manager in that domain. Now, if you're an HR professional and all of a sudden you are at Amazon, managing the products of Amazon Cloud Services, you will be lost. I mean, you may be very smart, but generally people will get lost because you don't have the understanding in the domain. So don't do that. Don't plan your career in that direction. Instead, plan your career to become a product manager at SAP SuccessFactors, at Zoho HRM, at Pluralsight, at another famous HR company that you can think of, which is making products in the human resources domain, right? So that way your domain experience plus your product management skills is a brilliant combination. In fact, if you and I both are interviewing at SAP SuccessFactors, right? SAP now acquired SuccessFactors, or let's pick another HR company, ADP, right? You have better. If you are a product manager, I am a product manager, but I come from technology space, you come from HR, you will actually be the chosen candidate over me, even if I have 5 years of more experience. in product management, you will be chosen. Why? Because you have the same product management experience or similar, but you also have the domain add-on, right? Which makes you an attractive candidate. So you have to plan your career, carefully by applying product management in your zone. So that way you don't lose all that background over the years, and it becomes an advantage as opposed to a baggage. Absolutely doable. Absolutely doable. We have a dietitian who's in the program right now. We have an Air Force pilot who's in the program right now. We have a medical doctor. The guy works at St. John's Hospital in Bangalore as a surgeon, and we all joke about in the class that this week, you ask the question when they all get together, especially in the executive MBA, when they all get together at the campus. Hey, how was your week? Because they get together on a weekend. And he says, yeah, nothing big. I just cut a few stomachs and operated on some complicated ulcers. So the guy just cuts stomachs from Monday to Friday and then shows up on a Saturday to learn product management, right? So if he can do that, you can certainly do this. So I would encourage you to not worry about this at all. Yes, you will be in minority. Yes, the 10 so-called random friends that you are going to talk to, they may feel, especially if those are techies, they may tell you, oh, no, you are not a techie, you are in HR, you should. Absolutely irrelevant, right? They don't know what they're talking about. So don't take random advice from random people, because you may be in minority in terms of the number of people from HR, getting into product management, but it's absolutely doable. Right? I call it as unique. Even if somebody calls that odd, I call that unique. So I would encourage you not to think and not to be not to lose hope on that at all. It's absolutely doable.
Though I am from BTech background, so that's why yeah.
Well, then you have best of both worlds, right? I mean, you have some technology background, you have some HR domain understanding. You will be a lot more attractive candidate if you build this skill.
Yeah. So what are the basic skills that I should have to become a product manager? I was asking.
So usually we take 18 months to explain that in the executive MBA program. But this wheel that you see on the screen might be a quick answer to your question. So study this carefully. This diagram is also available on the website for a free download. So just download that, study that. And that's the summary. That's why a lot of people ask this question: what does it take to become a product manager? And so that's why we've kind of created this organized intelligence of all the competencies that every company who hires for is looking for. So study this chart, and that's your answer to your question.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sia. Mukul, please go ahead and ask your question.
Hey Pinkesh, I hope you are having a great day and a great week. I'm Mukul. I'm a software engineer and a graduate of IIT Roorkee. Before moving into product management, I have around like 4 to 5 years of software development experience. So, like currently, I'm 6 months into the new role and the new profile. So, how do I know like the product management is the right fit for me in the long term? Like in the long term, when I'm say, it's around 20 to 25 years I'm speaking of. The career ahead of me.
So don't think 20 to 25 years with flying cars and having vacations on Mars, all kinds of crazy things that we call crazy are going to happen, and life will change too much. But I think look at from a 5 to 10-year horizon. If you look at that, which is more predictable, with the rate of change that we are going through. The outlook is unbelievably positive, exciting, and attractive in my view from an Indian context. It has always been exciting for US, but in the Indian context, the product feeling, the product skill necessity, the product companies, this whole make in India, all the other things which are all happening, ecosystem, digital, is only going to make this 10x more important, in the context of India. So outlook is extremely bullish and positive, for this space. Now, the bigger question, which is your first part of your question, is how do you know whether you're going to love it or not, right? It's one thing to say it's going to be an exciting space, but are you going to enjoy, that? There is no easy way to answer this question other than I can give you some tips. Read some blogs, take some online courses, low investment or free, ideally. Experience what a day in a life looks like through these learning and awareness opportunities. There is one course that I strongly recommend that one of the faculty members who also teaches at the institute has recorded, Professor Abhyankar. Let me see if I have that here. And of course, you guys can all see this on your side on the browser as well. And if somebody can post this link from the IPL team, it will become easier. But let me see. If you go under programs and digital learning in product management, this is a online video-based course which is kind of organized into 2-minute, 3-minute chapters. Now, and it'll take about 4 or 5 days, maybe a week or two for you to finish this, right? Almost like Netflix style. If you do binge watching, you'll finish this even faster. Now, once you go through this, the product management role, what do they do? What does the day in the life look like? What are the frameworks? So this type of awareness, this type of immersive way of video-based learning, self-paced, is the fastest way for you to determine whether you are going to enjoy this or not, right? And my recommendation is, before you take drastic steps of shifting your direction or starting walking down the direction, including getting into expensive programs, take a baby step. Take this digital class, take this digital learning, simple program. In the next 5 days, when you go through this, it should call within you. It should get that excitement. Oh, if this is what a product manager does, if this is what value proposition is, if this is what a buyer persona looks like, if these are the decisions that one has to make, I am gonna love it. Or you may come back and say, oh my God, this is boring. I don't think I see myself. At least you now know in 5 days and perhaps 5,000 rupees, less than the cost of pizza for a family, that like it or you don't. So my recommendation is, do these types of things before, if you're not sure, before you jump into bigger investments of time, of course, and money, but more than money, time, because you're a working professional. Time is more expensive than money. A lot of people don't realize this. And again, I just want to give you this candid advice. So pardon me for being blunt, but a lot of you, especially when I talk to folks in India, spend a lot of time in analyzing to the T-bone. And I think this is absolutely waste of time. Sometimes it is just better to buy the ice cream, take a bite, and see whether you like this flavor or not. Instead of spending 3 days on Google search, figuring out whether pistachio ice cream is good for you or not. You'll never know this. You'll never know this. And somebody's experience may not translate to you. Somebody did it, somebody's enjoying it, doesn't mean you will. So take a small step always, even if it costs, a small amount. It is absolutely worth it because of the time cost that you don't realize that we all waste. I do the same thing, right? So that's my candid advice, to take something like this. And there are a lot of them, by the way. You don't have to take this. There are lots on Coursera. There are lots on Udemy. But I know this one is highly curated and high quality, which will guide you in the best possible way.
Sure. That's a pretty good advice. And I understand like the time value versus like the money factor, and advice well taken. And so the another question which I had was, uh, you very well explained around the short-term aspect and how the probably the ROI and how the money is in the this particular field. But like in terms of the medium to long term, or probably what is the scope after like probably 10-15 years? Like, is it a good position to be in to shift to probably business roles or some other front end facing roles as well?
No, I don't know what you mean by front end. Product manager from day one is front end. So,
So
uh,
more regarding getting the business into the company and
yeah.
towards the revenue aspect.
Yes, yes. So let me show you this chart and hopefully this will help you. So this is a typical growth of a product manager across the 4 axes that you see. On the left side, you have the product. On the right side, you have the portfolio. Portfolio means multiple products, a product line, a whole division, a whole business unit, and eventually a whole company, right? So that's your x-axis. And your y-axis is going from tactical to more business, more strategic. And so this is the career progression path that I think you are asking for.
Yes, yes. I think that very well answers it. So would it be too much to ask for if this probably if this slide or the PPT could be shared with the members of uh, who have joined?
Absolutely. No, no, absolutely. It's on our website, and it's absolutely for all of you to consume. There is no holding back, or there is no secrecy, or any of that, right? We are passionate about this because we were fortunate to have coaches in our life, who accidentally or indirectly helped us in many different ways, and all of us are hence passionate about this, so that the next generation should become smarter, better, and do it in a much more faster way rather than kind of making those mistakes. So absolutely, all of this is completely for your personal use, completely free to leverage and share.
Sure. Thanks for taking the questions and for your time. So
Sure. Good luck.
Thank you, Mukul. Professor Shah, would it be possible for you to take some more questions?
I'm happy to. I know it's kind of late in India, but like I said, it's early morning. In fact, we have a hurricane warning going on right now in Houston, so all of us are kind of grounded. Any which way, thanks to COVID, we were grounded. But happy to take as many questions as you guys want to.
Sure. Let me take a few then. Shobhesh, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello. Thanks, Sonal. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Good morning, Pranesh. How are you today? I hope you're doing great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, as you said previously as well, you need to experience it to know it how it is. Like if you want to try the ice cream. So I have a more objective-based question or transactional questions. I mean, 3 questions I have. Like I have 8 years of work experience in marketing and sales of education product. So, I mean, last 1 or 2 years, I was more involved in the strategic and more of the product development, or depending upon the market need. That's where my interest grow in the product management. So, I wanted to understand how much technical knowledge is involved to get into this kind. I mean, to this. My career is to get into the ATech or the university-based programs or roles. So, how much technical knowledge I need to have to go to this program? That's one. Second question I have is, what is the difference between Icpm Flex course and Icpm Live and the in-class course? There's any difference, like the chapter-wise or anything like that? If yes, then what it is? Third, is Icpm Flex, if I go through this Icpm Flex course, do I qualify directly to take the AIPMM certification program of the product marketing management? So these are my
So let me start with the last one, otherwise I'll forget. So let me start with the last one. So the easy one. So short answer is yes. This certification, which is the global certification called CPM, Certified Product Manager from AIPMM United States, can be taken after any of these programs: ICPM Flex, ICPM, or Executive MBA.
So no, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was more concerned with the product marketing management.
CPMM also, yeah. Both CPM. So by the way, CPM and CPMM is the same exam, just so you know. the weightage of your marketing questions will be higher for CPMM than CPM, right? But it's the same 2-hour exam you take, different passing criteria, different weightages, but the curriculum and the model is the same for CPM and CPMM, right? So you can take either. Many people take both, right? So that's up to you. But you can take that at the end of any of these programs, right? So that's the easy answer. Now the ICPM versus ICPM Flex, on the surface, no difference. Same curriculum, same faculty, same pedagogy, same assessments, same assignments, same live projects, same portfolio building. Remember we talked about portfolio. The program forces you every month, because your final exam is not a multiple choice question paper. It's a live industry project that you work on and you present it in front of a jury, right? A live jury, which is usually from the industry. So all of this is the same. The difference now is on the learning style, where people who want to now get the additional, face-to-face coaching with the faculty, additional workshops that will happen, additional time that you want to, again, as a group, as a cohort, you want to kind of learn together, and you prefer campus-based, immersions, which happens once a month, actually 3 in 5 months, so one every other month. If you prefer that, ICPM is a better option for you. A lot more immersive way of learning versus ICPM Flex. But from a curriculum perspective, from a faculty perspective, from a pedagogy perspective, exactly the same. So let me tell you the inside roots of why even ICPM Flex was born. ICPM was the program that has been running for years now, by the way.
That is right.
And about a year ago, and about 11 batches have graduated, right? So it's a very, very popular, very flagship program. And about a year ago, nothing to do with COVID, although COVID is certainly now changing the game. But about a year ago, a lot of our alumni, they said, look, we don't want to travel to Bangalore because I'm in Hyderabad, I'm in Chennai, I'm in Singapore, I'm in Dubai. Many of them are in US. It's not feasible to travel to Bangalore for the immersions. So can you create a completely campus-less version of the same thing? And so after a lot of deliberation, I think the team must have decided that they want to do this to help the others, because the others could not join, like especially working women, moms. Travel is not a possibility. People who are constantly on client side, even the financial aspects of traveling, right? So that's how the ICPM Flex was really created out of the original ICPM. So just to give you some more insights into it, right? So, and then the first, I forgot the first question now. Did I answer the other two questions first of all?
Yes. I mean, that's the only concern was like going for the flex. I'm from Gurgaon in India, so that's right. So it was like I believe you people don't have the study center in Gurgaon for the ICPM. You have only in Pune and Bangalore. So that was my concern, is whether the course curriculum is different. However, coming to the last question, how much technical knowledge I would need to go through this program? If what kind of technical knowledge I would require?
Zero is the answer.
So how's the UX and all those stuff works?
No coding, right? If you can use PowerPoint, you can use Balsamic. And if you can use Balsamic, you can use Figma. And if you can use Figma, you are going to create amazing prototypes and interfaces, whether it's web, it's app, or physical experience design. You'll be able to do all of it. So zero coding, zero technology necessity, zero programming is necessary. Now, if you have it, great. That's also additional value for yourself. But the program does not expect that, and product management, doesn't expect that, right? And the industry does not expect you to code. Now, there are exceptions to this rule, like for example, Amazon. If you're a product manager at Amazon, they will actually ask you to once in a while look at code, It's a very extreme. Some other day I'll explain to all of you why that is also necessary, but it's a very, very extreme scenario. For the other 9 million companies, you know, this is not, nobody asks you to code or nobody asks you to do anything. So, you know, you can argue, is Excel coding? No. So as long as you know how to use Excel, as long as you know how to use Word and PowerPoint, you will be fine with everything if you don't come from a technology background.
I do have the, I mean, academic background, but I don't have the professional background for the, so that's my concern.
If you have, it's like the lady earlier who said she was from tech and had done HR. Similar to her, I think you are also overqualified already. Because we already have some academic background. We have people who have zero academic background. You know, like I said, they've come from a commerce graduate or a music major or a dietitian or an Air Force pilot. I mean, you don't need this at all. This is a myth. This is a big myth that's going around in India. And I don't know why this myth is going around, that somehow, you know, you need to have engineering background or technology background or coding background to get into it. Absolutely false.
If you can give me a minute, probably because I mean all the live, what you say, the live project which you give, you're all based on the technology-based company. So probably that's, I mean, shouting a lot about it. So you can.
Yeah, but you know, yeah, I understand. I understand. I also have a theory on why, right? My theory is two reasons. One is what you just said. You know, everybody talks about Zomato and everybody talks about Uber and everybody talks about, you know, is that an IT? Is Flipkart an IT company or a retail commerce company, right? So it's hard to say, right? Exactly. You know, is Tesla? So I don't know if you guys know Tesla. You know, is Tesla a mechanical company? Is it an automotive company? Is it a electrical company? Is it a computer science company? And the answer is all of the above, because you know it's a battery operated car.
It's a
So
EV
in some
company.
sense, right? Exactly. So this whole notion of IT versus non-IT, technology versus non-technology, is a nice conversation at a dinner table to kill time. It is a good gossip to waste time at a water cooler at the office. There is no other value in any of these conversations. Zero value. Again, I'm being blunt here, but I just want to make sure I help all of you think this the right way, right? So don't get caught up in all this nonsensical myth. There is no bearing. Now, of course, if you know more about the cloud, it's better for you. But even a dietitian should know how a cloud works. You don't have to be an IIT Kharagpur to get a license to understand what a cloud works, right? So too much of this is happening in India, especially Bangalore.
I'll take that advice. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vinay. Thanks for giving me time.
Thank you, Sobesh. Snail, please go ahead and unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Hi, Pinkesh. My question is very much similar to a few of the other folks who've asked their questions. It's just that I carry a lot more experience, and my experience is all into technical and project management space. I carry almost 15 years of experience so far, and now I have this thought of kind of getting into product management. So, considering that heavy an experience, do you think it's the right move? Do you think it's doable?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, more and more people who are what I call mid-career folks. In fact, I was just flipping through and maybe this statistic would also help relate to the situation. Anybody who's got this, 7 to 15, 7 to 18 years is kind of called mid-career, right? And a lot of people feel that they're stuck. In fact, 45% according to the latest survey that I saw. And so this is absolutely a relevant thing. While you may be slightly late, and late is not the right word, but slightly delayed in your thinking, that doesn't mean it is not for you. Absolutely, it is still very much. The demand is so high, right? And so again, the coaching that you need to work with, whoever is your coach, you need to work with that coach, your faculty, to help you navigate your ship in a certain zone, in a certain direction, which is advantageous because of your prior experience. You don't want to fight, you don't want to join a fight where there's a bunch of freshers and you have a disadvantage. You'd rather join a role, a type of company, a type of setup where your prior experience is going to be valued and is going to be unique, which a fresher or a slightly more junior person does not bring to the table. So, keeping that in mind, absolutely, relevant. In fact, not only relevant, it may be the pressing need of the hour. Now, you may not be in this situation, and I pray to the Almighty that you never get into that situation of stuck in your life. But most mid-career folks have to proactively think to avoid the trap of what I call the 1/3 curse. Have you heard about the 1/3 curse?
No, I haven't.
So here is a simple way of explaining. There's a very long research-driven books written on it also, a lot of blogs written on it. But the 1/3 curse, simply put, is the following. Somebody will have 1/3 your skills and is willing to work with 1/3 your salary.
Right.
And the company may say, you know what, good enough. At some point, the company may say, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Right? So now what has just happened? You just got affected, or using the COVID word, infected, with a 1/3 curse. And you don't want to get into that trap because 1/3 curse is hard to recover from.
But then won't that situation arise in the product management space? It very well can, right?
It very well can. But because the demand and supply is so out of whack right now, and because the ability to pay in product management is so high that the chances of that 1/3 curse is very, very negligible to none. In fact, in India, it is none. In US, you are getting that, right? So for example, if you're a VP of product management, making $500,000 in Palo Alto, California, you may get the 1/3, you may get infected by the 1/3 stuck virus. Why? Because a director level person or a junior PM who has enough strategy skills, who has built the skills, who has learned the skills, whose now portfolio is awesome, the company may say, why do I need to pay $500,000 to this so-called 20 years experienced guy when I can get somebody at 1/3 the cost? So it does affect people at a VP level in America, in United States and Europe. But in India, we are far away from that situation. In project management, we're already seeing the 1/3 curse, by the way. So I don't know if you have any friends in the project management space, ask around. They will all describe this 1/3 curse in their own way, but it's basically 1/3 curse. They're saying, look, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not enjoying it. It's not using all my power, all my cylinders. And some junior guy did some PMP training for 2 days, got a PMP certification, and all of a sudden is available at 1/4, 1/5 the price, and the company is actually considering. So this is real. This is real. It's happening on the ground. So like I said, I hope it never happens to you. It never happens to any one of you who's on the call today. But you need to proactively build the immunity to not get infected by this by continuously upskilling, reskilling. And if product is your passion, then go into product management. If design is your passion, get into user experience design. If data science is your passion, get into data science. But you need to continuously upskill and reskill.
Okay. Thanks, Pinkesh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yes. And just one follow-up question kind of to that question. So, if I kind of pick up an assignment into product management, into, let's say, my existing organization, so how would the beginning be? Because I don't have any prior experience. So what kind of assignments would I have to pick up? How would I start on it?
So best thing, my recommendation is don't go into this with a blank slate and do what I call hit and miss.
Mm-hmm.
Build the skills first.
Mm-hmm.
So you are capable. Go to the war, with a bunch of ammunition and a couple of guns, so that you have the best shot at winning that war, right? I mean, just strolling through the war and let me see what happens. There's a high chance you'll get killed in the analogical world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So build the skills first. Don't take up, because what will happen is you'll take a project, you don't know. Let's say it's a pricing exercise. Now you don't know the 11 types of pricing models right now. I'm
Right.
assuming,
Yeah,
which
right.
means you'll do some jugaad and some trial and error, and now what you'll produce is actually negative impression,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it? Because it was in fact better that you had not done anything as opposed to doing a poor job.
Okay.
So with 10 plus years of experience, I generally, my advice is don't do trial and error with your life from a career perspective. Don't waste time. Time is premium. Build the skills first. Build a learning experience. Build the skills. Then take on the projects. Then you are ready to make that switch, either within the company, which is ideal, or outside the company.
Okay. Okay. That answers my questions, Pinkesh. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Snail. I would like to take the last question for today's session, and I request rest of them to book a one-on-one session with the faculty so that they can get their questions answered. Merrick, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, sir. This is Marek. Just to give you a background about myself. So currently, I'm working at Media.net, which is an ad tech company, and I'm holding a role of a BD under a project, product marketing leader. So currently, so what my question is, what am I supposed to expect going into product management as a considerable fresher, and what should employer expect from me after I've done this course? Also, following up, what should my 5-year plan be like? De- Depending on just a generalistic view of how things are currently.
So I mean, what should the employer expect is little difficult for me to generalize, but as an employer, I tell you what I expect, right? I expect the 25 competencies which are global competencies that I showed earlier. Let me put it back on the screen. So I expect that you are proficient in inbound technical product management, inbound product management, outbound product management, which is the red portion of the wheel, and overall you are a customer-centric decision maker. So that's my employer expectation. Now, you may not have expertise in all 25, fair, but can you show me at least that you have expertise in half of them, if not 25? So that's my expectation. What should you expect? I mean, great growth path, a very, very high speed growth, and not just financially, but also the scope of your work, the kind of decision making authority that you are going to enjoy, the kind of impact that you will create. Building a product used by a nurse to go save lives is a very gratifying experience. Building a product that is used by thousands and hundreds, if you're in the consumer space, is very gratifying, right? So there's also this satisfaction, not just the money. Money is amazing. There's no question about it. But what's even more amazing, I think, which is why I am a product manager after 20 years. And while I have many choices, I continue to be that, is because you're always creating something new. You're always managing something that is very challenging. And the impact that you create on people's lives is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Direct impact, right? While every profession is noble in this world, the direct impact that you create on human lives is mind-boggling. So that's what you should expect. A great growth path. Now, if your goal is to get into kind of CEO role, then like I showed you earlier, this is the straight path to CEO. Straight path. You know, thousands and thousands and thousands of people have gone through this path. You know, I'm one of them. You know, here today with you. But trust me, I am not a unique person. There are millions probably like me who have gone through this. If not millions, at least hundreds and thousands of people, right? And so in some, and by the way, there are some celebrity ones as well. You know, all these three people that you see, which are familiar faces, you know, leading the world's largest economies and companies, they were product managers. So understand that the role and this profession is very exciting and has been exciting, will continue to be exciting, is what you should expect for the next 5-10 years of your life. If you want to start a company, well, that's even better. You know, many product managers, they eventually start their own entrepreneurial journeys because they already understand how to manage the life cycle of a business. So all you have to do is to take the personal risk-taking appetite now, add to the mix, voila, you're an entrepreneur.
Yes, exactly. So, just another follow-up question. So, Bill, talking from personal experience of what I have witnessed at my current role, what I see is anybody in a product management role has to do major parts of stakeholder management. So basically, this where I look at it, it looks like they have to have at least certain level of basic or or intermediate level of domain knowledge into certain other sections or working teams around, be it design or tech. So, what is your view? Like, when should someone like me who would join as a junior PM would start developing such skills on like a 2 or 3 career path?
I mean, I don't know what when means. I mean, now, why wait when you already know you have to go north, start walking, right? I mean, there's no perfect time type of concept here. You know, you should start ASAP.
All right, and okay, yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from. Yes, sir, understand.
Okay, looks like if that was the last question, then I'm glad all of you could could go over and over your questions, and I hope I was able to provide some insights to your journey of decision making. Not just for the program, that's also an important instrument, but more so the direction, right? The direction that you need to get into, the how, the where, the what. Spend some time on the website. I'm sure there's a lot of interesting data points that you can get from others who've gone through a similar journey. My parting thought is, do not, going back to the last question that I think the gentleman was asking, we all procrastinate a lot. In my own personal instance, in the last 5 days, I have been making up my mind, analyzing, I need to go to the gym, I need to start back onto that treadmill, and we procrastinate a lot. And what I should have done, and while I'm giving this advice to you, I'm equally guilty as a human in certain other areas as well, is we keep on analyzing, finding that perfect time, finding that perfect opportunity, astrologically, whatever it is that you believe in. Tomorrow is not any better, let me tell you. And sometimes later becomes never. So depending on what scale and what level of experience do you have, don't waste too much. Take an action. That action could very well be a free course on Coursera, like I said. But start that journey somewhere, right? If this is not the right thing, do something else, but have a bias for action. One thing that I continuously find as a trend with professionals in Southeast Asia, especially India, is this whole later is better. Later I will have more time at work. No, you will not have more time at work. Later, the family situations will be less demanding. Trust me, as a father of 3, there is no such thing as later the kids or the family is going to have less expectation. Later I'm going to have more free time. Trust me, that's not happening. So don't get into this, delay. Have a bias for action. Whatever that action might be, take some, right? And with that, wish you all the very best. And hope nothing but great stuff happens. Stay safe and stay skilled. Thank you.